Students at Florida State University forced to hide as gunfire erupts.
They just said they're scared, they're in lockdown, and they just want to go home.
Many texting their friends while sheltering in place, others forced to flee.
Yeah, I didn't see the shooter, but I saw the kids running away. I heard some screaming. And the shots, like 3 rounds of like 5 shots, and then 7 shots. So it must have been some back and forth going on.
Police in Tallahassee putting the campus on lockdown while responding to that shooting. A suspect is in custody. At least 6 students are injured. President Trump says he's been briefed on that FSU shooting, but details are still coming in.
It's a shame. It's a horrible thing. Horrible that things like this take place.
Still no word on a motive. The school says the threat has been neutralized. More than 1,000 international students have had their visas or legal status revoked in recent weeks. That's prompted multiple lawsuits aimed at the Trump administration, arguing they were denied due process. The White House has cracked down on pro-Palestinian campus protests over concerns of anti-Semitism. President Trump welcoming Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni to the White House today. The two leaders talking trade after the president paused his tariff plan for more than 75 nations.
We had a meeting yesterday with Japan. As you know, we've had numerous talks, very, very at the highest level, frankly, with other countries. Yeah, we're doing very well, and we're moving along on trade very well.
Italy's prime minister is sounding optimistic about finding common ground.
I think the best way is that we simply speak frankly about the needs that every one of us has and find ourselves in the middle. That's useful for all.
Mr. Trump argues he is negotiating trade agreements for a better deal for the U.S. Critics, though, argue tariffs will ultimately lead to higher prices. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
A federal appeals court upholds an order for the U.S. to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia from a Salvadorian prison. This comes as Maryland Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen says he was denied entry to a prison where Abrego Garcia was sent by the Trump administration in March. The move came despite an immigration court order preventing his deportation. A Venezuelan migrant arrested and released multiple times, making another court appearance in Chicago today, now charged with armed robbery. Fox's Mike Tobin is in the Windy City.
The suspect's name is Edmonds Perez Cortez, 25 years old. Police say on April 11th, about 6 a.m. in Chicago's Streeterville neighborhood, Cortez rode up on a rideshare bike and pointed a gun at a 41-year-old woman. And with broken English, he allegedly demanded money. Cortez allegedly made off with her iPhone, handbag, and electric scooter. Police traced the phone and found Cortez in Chicago's River North area. He was subsequently identified by the robbery victim. Records show since 2023, Cortez has been arrested by Chicago police 7 times. His charges range from shoplifting to drugs and reckless conduct. Each time he was released. In fact, Cortez had just been released from electronic monitoring 3 days prior to the armed robbery.
It's not yet clear why Cortez was released from police custody all those other times. A high-stakes hearing in California today where a judge is set to decide whether the Menendez brothers deserve to be resentenced. The decision will come after nearly a month following Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman asking a court to withdraw his predecessor's motion for resentencing, claiming the brothers are still lying about what motivated the 1989 murder of their parents. Hochman speaking outside the courthouse, saying they are not opposed to the idea of resentencing, but more needs to be done.
We've laid out a pathway that we believe the Menendez brothers can finally come clean. They can choose to go down that pathway or not.
Hochman believes Eric and Lyle Menendez need to come forward and say they lied about their motives before they can be deemed rehabilitated. I'm Tom Graham, and this is Fox News.
Racing, racing, racing! Farmer City Raceway is your local award-winning dirt track with exciting Friday night lights illuminating the late models and modifieds going for the checkered flag for the win. Make arrangements to get in on the camping with great price points for pit passes and young fans, as well as veterans. Friday nights, the hot laps start at 6:30, then qualifying and racing action. Don't miss out on the fun at Farmer City Raceway. For details, visit farmercityracing.com. You'll buy the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
Tim Culver, owner and president of Classic Plumbing and Air.
A plumber is a person that is well-rounded. They have education, they have experience, and they are versed in more than only one phase of plumbing. A plumber is someone that has experience in all three phases, and they understand how all three of these plumbing aspects work together as well.
Was in the heating and air conditioning business for approximately 30 years and then retired in 2021. So I came out of retirement because I'm very big on taking care of our local community. The most satisfying part of my job is when I know that I've done the right thing for the customer, taking care of the customer's happy, and when I walk out the door that I'm not afraid to put a sign out in front of their house that says, "This job was done by Chuck Thompson, Classic Plumbing and Air."
Visit them at classicplum.com.
Hey, what's up? It's The Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Derek Piper, Lonte, Kyle Tosk.
Morning.
How we doing, fellas?
Good, good. I saw a Brett Behrens.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? I just saw him real quick on TV.
Oh, really? Was he at Gordyville last night?
Yeah.
I saw him there. I didn't know if that was where it was.
He was up on stage with the crew.
Really?
So, yeah, he and Brad and Chris and Dana and who else?
Was he emceeing?
I
guess.
He
and Brian Barnhart both were emceeing.
Yeah.
Look at him.
I was like, look at Brett Behrens sneaking his
How
way
about
back
that?
into the
Yeah,
sports.
I like it. Brett's a great guy. I caught up with him a little bit,
guy.
doing well. Good to hear from him, a guy that made the transition out of the media business.
That's right.
And obviously had a great run at WCIA.
He totally did. It was kind of funny. I always record WAND and WCIA for reasons, like sometimes Andrew's on there, etc. But I think it was WAND had a close-up shot of Dana Altman like blowing his nose. I was like, all right, that's not exactly the best, most exciting thing. I heard Altman wasn't that funny, but Chris Collins was.
I did not see the program.
Oh,
I was
okay.
part of the media beforehand.
And then
so
you got out of town.
We caught up with them, and then I got back to the family.
That makes sense. I know Kyle sat through it like it was that. I mean, that makes it sound like it was just terrible.
Yeah, no, I want to get Kyle's thoughts.
I mean, I thought all of them were good. I thought Altman was pretty funny. Actually.
Good.
Brad was really laying into some guys.
Was he?
He was, yeah. By the program, he was kind of a different side of Brad that you are not used to seeing on the basketball court.
He didn't say anything about my jumper, did he?
No, he didn't.
Oh, that's good.
Thankfully.
Kept
Good.
pipes out of it. I heard Altman, one of his quotes on TV was, the kids want money in minutes. He's like, we're in the M&M. Yeah, he probably said that during the, well, obviously he did.
During the media
Yeah,
part.
during the media
He might have
scrum.
repeated it.
No. It was during the media scrum.
Money
and
in
then I just
minutes,
realized.
the M&M generation. It's a great line.
It really is, man. That's awesome. That was fun, though, I'm sure, and I think, 1,800 I saw. And I know last year they raised, or 500,000. So we'll see what this year raises. But
it's over 550,000.
Is that right?
Is what they said.
That's incredible.
Kyle's
I saw
presence, $50,000 uptick.
Boom.
Coincidence?
I saw Jimmy Hannigan doing the auctioneering there. He's an auctioneer over in that area. So all around a good time. I've got to make that one of these years. And I said yesterday after you had left, Eric, it always just all of a sudden it's here. And I'm like, I don't know how I always miss that opportunity, but it's normally when baseball is going. And so I've been busy with that for 4 years. But maybe next year, maybe next year I'll get a chance to go over there. I would love that atmosphere. Come on.
Yeah,
just to get around and see a bunch of Illini fans, and I'm sure people that I would know, many of them, and then of course to hear the coaches. That would be really cool to hear. Kind of, and like Kyle just said, you get a little bit of a different side of them. I'm not sure that's the case in the media scrum, but I'm guessing
it can be.
Okay, but I'm guessing when they get on the stage,
yeah,
it's a little different. But yeah, kicking cancer and great stuff by Central Illinois in general and everybody that donated to the cause last night to raise $550,000. That's stinking impressive, man. That's a big number. So congratulations to everybody.
Brad's done a great job with that event and pulling in great guests that make people want to come out and be a part of it each and every year. So what it's grown into has been really impressive, and Brad's been a part of. I know that he's given credit to, and so did Dana Altman last night. Lon Kruger is one of the trailblazers
very cool.
in the coaching profession as far as Coaches versus Cancer and how you set up something that has staying power. And Brad's done a great job of taking that torch and going forward. So it's always fun from the media side of it to go out there and chat with those guys. And I know that, all the people that are going through the program and obviously being part of the auction, which is great.
It's awesome.
And it's a great event. It's got look forward to every year type of status for sure.
It's a common enemy amongst all of us, right? We've all been affected by it. So it's easy to come together as allies and fight cancer. So that's great. And I like the idea that every year there's different coaches that come. There's different, like this year, Robbie Hummel is now a media personality, but of course a player. Raph was, you doesn't get any better than that. So that's kind of the cool thing every year is to wonder, like, who's Brad going to get next? I know Chris Collins had mentioned, and again, something you heard, is that, he's heard about this for 2 years from Brad, and I'm sure Brad has already put a little bit of a thought into whoever is coming next year, and I would assume that's a hard one to say no to, would be my assumption by these coaches. And with that said, though, I do appreciate them taking their time during a busy year, obviously, and of course they just got done. I mean, the first thing I'd want to do is be in the Bahamas for about a month after the season ended. But, of course, with the portal and everything else going on, coaches can't really get away. When do they get away?
Don't know.
Do coaches get a vacation anymore? It used to be it was pretty obvious when a coach would take a vacation because you could only recruit high school kids certain times, right?
Yeah.
And they'd call it the dead period, which they still have.
It still happens, yeah.
But it was one of those where I'm sure – every year, unlike maybe even the normal person that has jobs that maybe doesn't have an idea of exactly when they can go on a vacation, for a coach back in the day, it was probably, okay, the season ends here. We hope it goes into April, but then there is a window from here to here that we can get out of here. And I'm sure the wives and the families were like, all right, we are getting out of here. But now, I have no idea.
August is the time I would circle.
Is it August?
Right
okay.
now, because when you're looking at it, and previously maybe we're able to go after the Final Four, which coaches all usually flock to, whether you're in it. Of course, you want to be, and then if you're not, you have like the coaching conventions and all the meetups with influential people in the college basketball world. Brushing shoulders with our buddy Trevor Valise down there.
Ooh, yeah.
Wherever the Final Four side ultimately is. But there was a window between the end of the season and when the live periods would start for AAU. They have shortened some of the opportunities in the spring for AAU live events, but at the same time, we've entered into what's currently the transfer portal era and the window as it is. And while it is only now a 30-day window to get into the portal, that, of course, doesn't limit it from being guys making decisions well after it if you are in the portal. So I think that's really probably pressed it up against when you build your roster, then you go out on the road mid to late May, I think a couple of times for coaches. June, you get your team on campus. So after being with them for 2 months on campus and doing your thing, if you're not going on a foreign trip, as you can do every couple of years, then I'd say everybody goes back home for a few weeks for the fall semester. That's probably a good chance for coaches to go out there. And, even as somebody that covers this sport, I spend time thinking, like, when can I get out of here? So I'm hoping last year's roster build went deep into May, and actually Will Riley was a June announcement. But,
wow.
I think May is the time that I'm hoping it calms down a little bit, and I can do that.
Amen. I mean, we've all got to get away on occasion, right? It's one of those situations. So, yeah, but again, a great event, and it's awesome that takes place every year around Central Illinois, and I know they do a great job over in Gordyville, Penfield, that area, and of course they've got the perfect spot for it with that arena, if you will. I mean, that place is huge. So just a cool thing that they do every year. And again, I think it's great that the coaches, number one, all the people that show up and donate, that's the best part. But number two, the coaches that take the time to do this is something that they don't have to do that.
Right.
But the idea that they do it and they do it for a great cause, it's awesome.
I think you need to put a text in to Rob Collins.
Yeah.
Because that gives him almost a full year to get you a pair of cowboy boots.
Oh, that's a good
between
call.
now and next year's event.
It's a really good call.
So just put that floater out there. Maybe you can check if he hasn't gotten them to you when you have him on for the Chiefs Super Bowl, however many appearances in a row that will be when we have him on in February. That we can check in on that. But I think you can make that happen. You got a connection.
I am not a cowboy boots guy.
I've never worn a pair in my life.
Nor have I. I'm not exactly a manly man, so I'm not sure that it's going to, like when I try to like even grow a beard or something, it just looks really bad. And now it looks even worse because 50% of it's gray. So I'm like, although maybe that's cool, if you could wear the George Clooney gray look, but I can't do that either. I'm not that good looking of a dude. So, I don't know. And plus I love shorts. So I'm not sure that cowboy boots and shorts. Now, I think girls can pull that look off. I've seen that occur, but I don't know that a guy in shorts and cowboy boots is really going to move the needle.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair where females can wear the sundress or whatever it might be.
Perfect.
The dress with the boots and,
Yep.
it fits. And then if you walked in there with shorts and cowboy boots, it'd be not that I haven't seen it. I lived in Nashville for a year, so you see a lot of variations of the cowboy boots look. I've seen it happen. I don't know that it's necessarily going to get you a lot of style points.
You see guys like that or people like that, and I've always had an admiration for that kind of person because I'm like, you know what? That person just doesn't give a crap anymore. They just don't give a crap. And sometimes that's the way you should approach life. I'm not saying you should be negative to society or, a deadbeat to society or anything. I don't mean any negative connotation by that, but sometimes it's great to just wear what you want to wear, man. Look what you want to look like and don't worry what other people think about it. And if you can get that attitude, you're winning in life. Mm-hmm. Absolutely winning in life. So let's go. I don't know how many times I just always hear you've got shorts on? I'm like, oh my gosh, when is this not going to be a thing?
I know.
I wear shorts.
When are you guys going to start to get it?
Right. 98% of the time you see me, I'm going to be in shorts.
Thing.
So it's like, I know that it's kind of windy and it's a little cold, but I'm still going to be in shorts. I just don't get cold in my legs. My legs do not get cold.
Yep.
So there you go.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
217 on the Max Twin City Recycling text line. Went to the event last night. Pre-game at my bar.
Nice.
And Deion Thomas always comes in beforehand to pre-game as well. He has to be one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. He remembers people's names. All around great dude. Yes. Deion, as we've said many times, up there on the Mount Rushmore of nice guys.
I want to hear the bar.
I know, yeah.
Let's get a shout out to the bar. What the heck? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Speaking of Deion, did you guys see the Twitter or the interview with Deion that he had done when he talked about Bruce Pearl at the Final Four? That Bruce Pearl came up to – Bruce Pearl was eating in what's the Lagasse or whatever? I don't know. He's like a famous chef. I'm sorry. I should know that.
Lasagna?
Yeah, probably. No, I can't. What is the guy's name? He's got TV shows and everything. Whatever. Anyway, I guess Bruce Pearl spotted Deion outside, ran outside, and apologized to Deion about everything that occurred that many years ago and said, I was new to the business. You would have been my biggest recruit. So I can't remember exactly the word that Bruce Pearl used. Deion did say after that, during the interview, he said, look, this is something that I've gotten over years ago. He said, now, do I think the apology came 25 years late or 20 or however many it is? He's like, yeah, I think it did come that late. But the idea that happened, that Bruce Pearl tried to make amends is interesting. Of course, he was on top of the world in the Final Four and feeling good. So he probably thought, well, I'll just get this out of the way as well. But certainly that's something that an apology is not going to change the mind of Illinois fans. I can promise you that.
No,
Bruce Pearl.
Definitely not.
Not at all.
Not. Emerald.
Emerald, yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, it's the North. Oh, yeah, the North 50 in Gifford.
Nice.
Right across from the Long Branch.
Yeah,
It's a good spot.
No
It's
doubt.
a good spot. Big bar.
Wade says 10 pairs of Dan Post cowboy boots is what he owns. And he said, I wonder if Brad's ever tried to get Dick Vitale to the cancer benefit. That'd be awesome.
That would be. I wonder if in the last couple of years Dick Vitale would have been able to do that.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of movement.
Oh, yeah,
sure. I don't mean movement as in your body, but that's a lot of things to get figured out for Dick Vitale. But maybe if he starts to feel better, that is something that could accomplish. I mean, Dick Vitale, I know a lot of Illinois fans always think, and it's obvious he always has had that East Coast bias and the Duke, and there's no doubt about stuff like that. But Dick Vitale was great for college basketball, and he was great for Illinois, and especially that Flying Illini team. I mean, he loved that team, and I think he's on record as saying it's like one of his top 3 favorite teams ever was the Flying Illini team. So I don't know that there should be much angst against Dick Vitale, and maybe there's not. I hope there isn't. And, of course, he's battled now and was able to come back and do a couple of games, I believe.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's great. And a guy that frequents St. Pete Beach. He loves
That's
St.
right,
Pete
yeah.
Beach. He's got a little breakfast place down. Now, it's not his, but he always goes and eats breakfast at a certain place down there. You can always run into Dick Vitale back in the day. So, yeah, just a guy that was great for college basketball and really a guy that helped grow this sport as well as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
an icon in the game. For
yeah,
sure.
and there's no doubt. No doubt.
314, let's get Kyle's best coaching story from
I
last
agree.
night. Kyle, you going to share some anecdotes, or is that all confidential?
I'm trying to remember if
Emerald
Lagasse.
Lagasse, that's the whole name. I'm sorry. Thank you to the 651. I'm letting Kyle think here for a second. Somebody did, Marcus asked about where's JC going to commit, JC Anderson. I don't know.
Sure you don't.
I stay out of that. I stay out of that stuff. Every once in a while I'll be like, Andrew,
Yeah.
You got any news? You got any news?
I'll say the same thing that Lon says. I don't ask Lon on a daily basis. So what's up with JC?
Right.
I just kind of let Lon keep his sources, his intel to himself, and when he's comfortable telling us what's really going on, he can do it.
I gave we had our awards banquet at the end of the year of basketball, and I was giving his dad Jeff some grief. They had just gone to Ole Miss. They showed up all in Ole Miss gear for the awards banquet, and I was giving him some grief, and I said, "Hey, come on, just throw it out." And he's like, Lon, he's like, we honestly don't know. They honestly don't know. I think they loved the Ole Miss visit. They really like Illinois. I mean, I'll tell you that. They love Illinois. It is a family that is a big family. They love being together. They love seeing each other. I know Jeff and Becky, the parents, love seeing JC, and he loves seeing his parents. So I think there's a lot of things that would go Illinois in the direction of Illinois in terms of the positive. But I know that he really enjoyed his visit to Ole Miss, and he has a great relationship with Auburn and North Carolina, and of course, he had Notre Dame there for a while. So JC's just a really nice, just a great kid that's just kind of taking it all in. And truly, I honestly, and I say this with 100% honesty, I don't think JC's made a decision yet on which way he wants to go. Now, could it be one of those where it's Illinois to lose and then somebody comes in and maybe just wows him to that point? Possibly, but I don't know that. And I mean this, none of that family has led on to me about where they will go play. It does help having Braden Trimble at Illinois. It does help that it's an hour away. It does help that JC's gone to a lot of football games at Illinois. So I think all of that helps in this. And it should, wherever you're from geographically, you would hope that kind of your home team has a little bit of an edge when it comes to that. But certainly we see plenty of guys go elsewhere. And not just from here to somewhere else, but from somewhere else to here even. You think about these kids down in Florida that are coming up to play for Coach Bielema. I mean, there's how many great universities are in Florida if they're offered with Miami and Florida State, and prayers to Florida State today, the shooting on that campus. Of course, the Gators. I mean, you've got so much great it's just, so I know that the one thing I think when I talk to the Andersons, I feel like I'm like doing the what's the Keanu Reeves movie that I love? Where
The Matrix?
Yeah, The Matrix, because aren't they the Andersons or whatever?
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But when I talk to them, I get the sense that they're having fun with the process. And that's cool, because I have talked to athletes in the past that will tell you, and Kyle, I've given you a lot of time to come up with a great story. But I feel like some athletes sometimes will be like, man, I was just tired of the grind. And I'm sure you, Derek, especially have talked to players that have been like, I was ready to get it over with. I just wanted to get it over with and just kind of enjoy the rest of my senior year or whatever, or rest of my high school career. But I get the feeling, and I mean this, that they love all of this. They love just going and meeting great people and seeing great campuses. And man, I'm jealous all the great campuses they've got to see and be treated like a rock star when you're there, for sure. But I know Illinois has done nothing wrong in this thing. So we'll see what happens, I guess, in the stretch run.
I don't know anything. 5 minutes debrief of what's really going on with J.C. Anderson. Okay. All right. We got it out of him. Congrats to the text line.
Marcus with the lawn question mark. No, you need to poke Andrew. Maybe I guarantee he knows more than me, maybe.
Well, good stuff. Kyle, you thought anything? And even if you didn't think of a specific story, can you power rank of the guests and maybe Brad included, who was the best presenter or talker last night?
There wasn't a ton of like stories. I know there was a lot. It was like a Q&A, so it was a bunch of like questions from the audience, and a lot of them had to do with officiating. And Chris Collins was getting a little annoyed about how many officiating questions there were. I will say, good old Heine's Anderson got a stray thrown his way by Brad on the stage, and then Chris Collins threw in. He's like, "See, the one thing I'll say about referees is if they have a nickname, not good."
TV Ted and Heine's.
Yeah. Chris Collins was talking about how he really liked Illinois, and he almost chose Illinois, except that he was getting recruited by Lou Henson the year that Illinois had all the sanctions from the Dion situation. So they only had 2 scholarships. It was the week of his Duke visit. Lou Henson called him and said, "I need an answer by 5 o'clock tonight."
Wow.
And Collins was like, I wasn't ready to make a decision, so I passed and went to Duke.
That's fair.
It was hard hearing Robbie in the media session again, rehashing all the family ties to the U of I, and said, "Is Uncle still a professor here or something like that?"
Idea.
I think that's what he said.
Is that right?
In the media,
I know they played tennis here, right?
Yeah,
or
his
somebody
grandparents,
his grandparents
did, and there was
played
somebody
tennis?
else.
Wow. So you got Hummel talking about that. Now we hear Kyle say that Chris Collins was basically down to Illinois and Duke, maybe, and Illinois put the pressure on him for an answer. And I guess you can't blame Lou Henson back then, but wow. And of course, Doug Collins, wasn't he? He was the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Is that right? I'd have to.
Sounds right.
Out of Illinois State University, out of Benton, Illinois. Doug Collins from Benton. Went to Illinois State. I know he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, I believe, and then ends up going to the NBA. I think Doug Collins played in that. You're shaking your head.
73 draft to the Sixers, number 1 overall.
To my Sixers, okay. And then, of course, he played in that Olympic game that the United States got the royal you-know-what. And I it's been so long since I've known the particulars of that, but wasn't that against Russia? Or the USSR maybe or whatever back in the day, and it's something about the clock didn't start or it did start or something. And
what were the nicknames of those refs?
I love it. Oh, and Kyle's getting a lot of shade today.
Is he?
On the T-Strain transfer. Oh. Were you talking about that?
We were talking about retention and how Brett hasn't lost anybody that they would want to keep.
Watch this offseason, like 8 starters will get gutted in the spring portal window after I brought that up.
Yeah, I don't know how to stop this now. Tyler Strain, had he lost his job, starting job? Was that freshman cornerback kind of taking some of his minutes, and now his name has escaped me because I literally can only go from one season to the next.
I'm so portal brained right now.
It's horrible. Oh, I don't know how you're. I was even going to ask you for an update on men's basketball portal.
Oh, we could do that.
But we'd have to do it
Some
after
big
the
names
break.
entering today.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, then maybe I'm glad I brought that up.
Yes, no doubt. And Brad talked about last night what they still need.
Okay. Well, I want to hear all
which
this.
we can tease that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get to a little Brad Underwood audio before we get out of here.
That'd be cool
for those that missed it last night.
Do we have Brad and Chris?
Everybody.
I'd like to actually
Thought
hear.
Robbie was really good.
Well, I bet Hummel was good too.
I didn't get a chance to tell him that there are Illinois fans, namely your son, that don't like him. Ran out of time.
Probably best to leave that one.
Yeah, I just let it go.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ruin his night. He already looked like he had a little bit of a sunburn from golfing earlier in the day.
Is that what they had done?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So they kind of get the whole day planned, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a beautiful day.
It was.
For them to take advantage of. So that's good. That's always risky and in the Midwest, trying to say, hey, we'll just go golf that day. It's like, really? Might be a 90-mile-an-hour wind in your face.
Guys, I guess we're going bowling.
Yeah, right. I hope that's all right. That's awesome. I would love to hear a little thoughts from Brad on what he thinks, and then, of course, some of the names that entered. Mm-hmm. Has A.J. Storr committed anywhere?
Ole Miss.
Oh, he did go to Ole Miss. Okay. I am on record as saying I wanted A.J. Storr. So we'll see if he has more of a Wisconsin-like final year or more of a Kansas-like final year. So we'll see. But I was one that wanted a guy like that to come in and see what he could do. So
He's talented, for sure.
There was another subject I was going to bring up that was all over Twitter, but I don't want to bring that up.
Don't quite know where you're going, but we'll touch base
during
this break. 217-359-2255, Max Twin City Recycling text line. Hit us up. We'll talk Illinois basketball, transfer portal coming up next. It is The Drive.
It's time to become familiar with Salon 105, an upscale salon. Meet Morgan, one of the talented stylists at Salon 105 in Mahomet.
So I do a lot of lived-in color, blonding, brunettes, natural-looking reds, extensions. I do kids cuts. I love doing what I do because Kelsey has a very unique way of cultivating an environment that people just want to be in.
And what makes the environment so special at Salon 105?
Oh gosh, it's inclusive, it's genuine. I don't feel like I have to, try and be cool. I can be myself. And I think our clients experience that also. I have a guest who came in and she pulled me aside at the end of the appointment and she was like, I'm very appreciative to be here because I feel like I belong here too.
To book your appointment, go to salon-105.com. That's salon-105.com. PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. Sarah Champagne managing partner Ben Quattrone on why integrity is important at Sarah.
We hire the person. The person makes the deal. The person makes the department. The person makes everyone around them treat people with courtesy and respect. If you have a quality human being, you can play any position, right? We're talking about sports. They can perform in any department, and I could teach someone a job, but I can't teach them to be a good person.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERRA champagne.com.
Winter's finally over. Time to thaw out and enjoy the sunshine. But is your yard ready? Part of the trusted Two Men and a Truck family, Two Men and a Junk Truck can help you ditch the clutter and create the perfect outdoor oasis. From old patio furniture to forgotten fire pits, Two Men and a Junk Truck, a member of the Two Men and a Truck services, will haul it all away. Get ready for cookouts, parties, or just chilling with a good book. Make space for what matters most. Visit twomenindajuncktruck.com today. Use code Radio25 to save $25 on your next service.
You've heard about the doggy bag, right? From Bulldog Disposal Mahomet, a 6 cubic yard canvas bag that can be used for easy cleanup instead of a big dumpster. The one-time use bag is now available and you can save the delivery charge. Get the doggy bag at Do It Best Hardware in Champaign at 107 West Springfield. So fill up the bag, call Bulldog Disposal, have it disposed of, and you'll be organized. Go to bulldoggybag.com for all the details. That's bulldoggybag.com.
Urbana's Market at the Square has been cultivating a vibrant scene in CU since 1979. Get to know your farmers bringing locally harvested honey, crafts, jewelry, art, fresh cut flowers, plus produce including fresh leafy greens and root vegetables, fresh baked treats, and a wide selection of proteins. Going on now, every Saturday, 7 a.m. till noon, rain or shine at Illinois and Vine, it's Urbana Market at the Square. Find Urbana Market on Facebook or urbanamarket.org.
Are you tired of shivering in the winter? Look no further than your local heroes at ABC Heating and Air Conditioning. Hi, this is Gina inviting you to give us a call at 217-352-5400 to book your appointment to make sure your furnaces run safely and efficiently this winter. We've been proudly locally owned and operated and have been serving our community for over 50 years. ABC, always be comfortable. Call me 217-352-5400 to book your appointment today or go to abcheatingandac.com.
Live the champagne life in downtown at Jane Addams Bookshop, located at 208 North Neal Street. Visit a local treasure that's been a reader's paradise for more than 30 years. There's a book for everyone with more than 100 different sections for adults and children. And don't forget their selection of journals, greeting cards, and gifts. Jane Addams Bookshop is a favorite destination for avid readers and a proud member of the Champagne Center Partnership.
When you live the champagne life.
And don't forget, you can search their inventory online at janeaddamsbooks.com.
When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect accent rug or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night crime show binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is right here in Champaign-Urbana to help you select the right protection at the right price. Kurt will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. Just call him when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back on the drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Austin, you are correct. That is what Lon was referencing, which I think it could be okay to stand to mention, but I don't want to completely dive through that rabbit hole.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Hey, the Cubs lost to the Padres. Sorry, I know we're not going baseball direction, but I just had to say that because I'm tired of the Cubs winning, Kyle.
You've been waiting for that one.
I have been. I waited 30-some minutes.
Breaking news. Cubs didn't win a series.
That's incredible. Who they have now?
The Diamondbacks.
Ooh.
And then the Dodgers.
Have they played at Wrigley like 3 times?
They've played 6 games at Wrigley so
wow. So not only are they going to play a lot of easier teams, but they're going to play a lot of home games.
Hopefully, yeah. I would imagine so.
If I'm a season ticket holder, I promise we'll get to something other. If I'm a season ticket holder in either St. Louis or Chicago, I'm praying for a lot of road games early in the year. Who wants to sit out in cold 40-degree weather with 28-mile-an-hour wind? That's not fun. It's just not enjoyable. Now, it's to the point where when you see the crowds in St. Louis, that's pathetic, and that's more of Cardinals fans sending a message, I think, to the front office. But certainly, I don't blame a fan for not wanting to go sit. I mean, when that wind is coming, even at Wrigley, when it's cold, that's miserable. I've been at Wrigley Field when it's cold, and it is miserably cold with that wind coming off the lake and such. So if you're a Cubs fan right now, you're just sitting there saying, hey, you know what? Let all these colder days go by, and then let's ratchet up the schedule at home and have some fun times at Wrigley. So, yeah, definitely. I'd love for us to go up there and check out a game sometime.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Well, Kyle will have to defend you and I if we get into a fight.
I'm sure he'd be very urgent about jumping to our defense.
Be like, this is our bodyguard. This is Kyle. Kyle's like, can we just talk about this? I'm a Cubs fan. Let's talk about this.
I've never actually seen these guys before.
Yeah, right. I don't know who they are.
That sounds right. That sounds right. Probably deserved.
Oh, and Pipes wore his Diamondbacks hat today.
I did. I didn't
yes!
do it. ahead of
You
with
guys.
thought of the series coming up.
I tell you what, at the break, I'll go get my Cardinals hat, and then we're just going all in against Kyle today.
I've just been alternating hats. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, so it's
Oh.
one of those things.
Yeah.
Where want to stop putting gel in the hair. Doesn't look good. It's getting too long.
Yep, I get it. And
I do really like this hat.
The irony is that your wife is a hair.
She is my hairstylist.
So
barber.
The fact that you would come down to the wire where you're like, man, I really need a haircut. Yeah. I would think you would be one that has a certain every 3 weeks, Derek, you're getting your haircut. Because I'm one of those guys that literally wake up one day and I'm like, oh, yeah, I need a haircut. I don't sit there and plan ahead for it, but some guys do. Like usually females, they set their appointment. You know, they get done immediately and then they set their appointment for the next month or wherever, however long they do that. And some guys will do that, but me, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to be in a month.
Exactly. I don't know. It takes some finessing to get that scheduled because you can't just be like expecting at the drop of a hat. Oh, you don't think I have anything going on? Sure, I can cut your hair right now.
Sure.
It's not like I got kids to deal with or any of that.
Or want to make money for the family.
Yeah, that too.
You know, let me put off this client that I've had for 10 years that's wonderful just so I can get my husband in the chair.
It's usually me trying to find a window in between clients to be like, hey, can I come in here? Right. No, I don't have an appointment. No, I'm not going to pay the front desk as I leave.
You got to do it when she's coloring someone's hair, I think, right? Because then they have to sit over
the process.
Correct. So listen, I'm kind of familiar on this a little bit. That's probably where it ends, though, so we'll stop there. All right, so big names. What did Brad Underwood say last night, though, about what he thinks Illinois still needs?
Now, he mentioned multiple times older guys that he's looking for, and he emphasized that. He mentioned how the recipe a year ago was very, not in terms of building what was this past year's roster, but a year ago as the Elite Eight.
Okay.
I know now it's essentially 2 years ago, but that team, they had some older returners like Terrence and Coleman.
Sure.
You got obviously Tommy and Kylan who are older, Ty who's older.
Yep.
And being able to put some older pieces around them too and kind of, obviously try to maximize this year. So not that they didn't appreciate having high-end freshmen like Will Riley and KJ, but if you can get experience, it can be obviously something that you covet for sure. So that was one thing he really emphasized. He mentioned a combo guard and a big forward, as he said. I think he was saying wing if he were to.
Okay.
In terms of what I know about kind of what they've been looking for. So I think a wing and a guard, which we've very well known. And the front court's pretty well set, I think, especially if Benham Rickhouse comes back. It was interesting, Brad, in talking about some of the older guys they're bringing back through Benham Rickhouse in that group, even though we haven't heard Ben announce that he's coming back. Jeremy Warner followed up with him. He said essentially that he hopes that is the result he's been working out over there at Oven. But it has been all eyes on a guard or a wing, actually trying to get both. We know Adam Miller, and that pursuit continues. I think we're going to see him, ideally, I think especially from Illinois' standpoint, make a decision here pretty soon. If it drags out, I don't know if that's probably good news for Illinois, because I think if he doesn't take any visits, he's obviously pretty familiar with Champaign and the campus and everything like that. That not that people haven't committed without visiting the place they're going to go, but that one pushes forward. It sounds like Gonzaga, Baylor are two of the bigger players still in the mix, as along with Illinois.
Would he be considered the combo guard, or do you think it's Adam Miller and another combo guard?
I think that he would be considered the bigger piece at guard in terms of you need a probably starting caliber shooting guard.
Yeah.
I look at Adam as he's a shooting guard.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not a combo. He's not a capable, run offense through, at least based on what he's shown so far, playmaker type. He's a shooter and a guy that can play good defense. So 23 years old, would turn 24 by the next NCAA tournament. I'd like to have that.
Yes.
As a role piece. And I do think, he started 115 games at the high major level. He could obviously do that in his final season as well. So if it worked itself out where you either had enough money remaining or you could get somebody at a pretty good bargain price, it'd be nice to add another ball handler.
I agree.
Off the bench. because I was talking to some people recently in and around the Ubben facility. I'm like, who's going to be the backup point guard here? And one of the first answer I got was probably Ty Rodgers.
Ooh.
And it wasn't the answer I would love to have. I'm not saying he can't do it. He's had a whole year to work on his game.
Right.
But, there was a reason, obviously because Marcus was awesome, but there was a reason that Marcus essentially became your point guard that year when you went to the Elite Eight, and it didn't become Ty Rodgers. So we'll see. But I think that's something that it'd be nice if they could get another one of those. Wing has and continues to be a huge priority. And one name that you need to
is Mirkovic not a guy considered a wing?
He's a 4-man.
Okay.
Yeah.
6'9". That's fair. That's fair. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you're good. I think that you want that wing to be a shot creator, a guy that can make open looks, obviously, but even create off the bounce and just be probably your primary scorer.
Yes.
So that's something that, Josh Dix was a guy I looked at in that role. You've been recruiting Dame Sarr, who I don't know that he's like the prolific scorer type that you might. I mean, from an upside standpoint, from a well-rounded game, he's got a lot of ability, and they've obviously spent a lot of time on him. I think he's probably going to make a decision here pretty soon. But some of the names to go in the portal today, which we'll get to right now, there's one in particular I would really watch out for: Andrei Stojakovic.
Oh.
From Cal, son of Peja.
I was going to say, I think I know that name.
Yeah, averaged about 18 a game last year. It's interesting that he's Peja's son, but he's only shot 32% from three in college so far. So I think there is the potential for him to elevate that.
What age would he be coming in?
Like
not age, but junior. Okay.
Yeah, he'd
Gotcha.
be a junior and a guy that has NBA potential. He's 6'7".
Gee, money.
On the wing and can create his own shot, 3-level scorer.
Okay.
And maybe with more talent around him. He's on a bad Cal team last year. Played for Stanford the year before that. He's had an interest in staying close to his family on the West Coast before. But I think with more around him, that probably opens up more opportunities. And I'd have to look exactly where his he's got European connections, obviously his dad and his mom as well. So I think that helps Illinois as this pushes forward. And he's one I've been looking to see if he went in the portal, and he popped today.
I have a question. Gonzaga has really, I've always felt like, been the front runner when it came to international players. Would you agree with that? It seemed like for a long time, and I would assume that you get a name about you. In other words, yes, you can trust sending your kid to Gonzaga, right? I mean, so on that Euro front, let's say, if they talk over there and you say, hey, what have you heard about this school? Is Illinois now in really good grace? They were never in bad graces, but I mean, they may have just been somebody that nobody even knew about. Like, Illinois didn't have international players for a long time, and there's still a lot of teams that have never had maybe an international player. Maybe I'm wrong there because times have changed much in the last few years. But is Illinois now maybe, let's say, I'm throwing this out and making it up a little, like a top 10 kind of college for being someone that you, in the Euro, let's say, would trust, even though Peja, I'm sorry, it's not Peja. What's his name?
Andre,
even though he's played 2 years already in college basketball, there's still probably that, all right, we want to go somewhere else. And, hey, Illinois' done a pretty good job lately with some international guys. Would that be kind of a little bit of a truth with Illinois kind of gaining in that area?
I definitely think so.
Okay.
And it's kind of a combination of their connections, obviously. When, Orlando Antigua has recruited internationally for a long time. Obviously, Jeff Alexander, in particular, the last couple of years, put in a lot of effort. And I think in today's age, the inroads that you make with agents are very big and influential. So the fact that Jeff is repped by Wasserman, KJ is a Wasserman client, that's important because Wasserman's probably one of the most prolific or highest profile agencies, especially internationally. And then you have I don't know his name off the top of my head, but the agent for Tommy and Zvonimir is the same agent as Nikola Jokic. So he's like a big deal in Serbia, and that's somebody also that when you treat their players well, develop them, feel like there's a trust factor that what you're saying is what you're actually going to do, and that there's a good situation.
Sure.
If KJ goes to Illinois, which I think he did, and had a great experience.
Sounds like it.
And spoke highly of what happened there, that then leads guys to want to direct their players, their clients in that direction as well. And I think also just the way the arrow pointed, you can say what you want about KJ's seasons, even at the end, from where he was coming into college to where he ended up, like he's higher on mock drafts now than he was before his freshman year. Tommy was not anywhere that I had seen, on NBA draft big boards and projected possible second rounder. And now he's got a lot more NBA attention and somebody that could be a second round pick after another year. So that all matters a lot. And I think just also the offense that Illinois had. Illinois had two really good offenses the last 2 years, and they give their guys a lot of freedom.
I thought it was interesting that KJ, in an article I read the other day, basically said he encourages kids to come to the States and play in college to kind of get an idea of what this kind of basketball is like. Not that it's that much different than Europe, but maybe it is. You would know that better than I. But I thought that was interesting that he's, it wasn't one of those where it's like, I came here, and although he had a really good freshman season, but it's not like, oh no, just go straight to the pro. I mean, I thought that was interesting that he said that. Will Riley, probably a kid that was very that was very highly thought of, maybe, but still probably obviously raised his bar as well.
No doubt.
At Illinois. So
and, a guy that was more known in the States because of the EYBL and played for UPlay Canada, and had a decent amount of attention, was a 5-star caliber player. He had worked his way up into that range before reclassing. But still, that's something that in general, increasing your NBA presence, more examples you can point to of guys that have developed. It helps also that Will Riley has been very vocal of, like I put on 20 pounds in a year with Adam Fletcher. That helps a lot too. So
what would be the biggest factor for Stojakovic to come here, or to even consider coming here?
I would imagine. So he just went in the portal today. I haven't seen any type of statements from him, it's still early, I think, in terms of trying to gather everything that's out there. But if I were looking at it from his vantage point, obviously, to go back to the Dana Altman's standpoint, the M&Ms, the money and the minutes, and Illinois still has the ability to make a big splash with their rev share / NIL pool. And I think they've been holding it back for the right piece, and it sounds like this is one that they've been gearing up for. And minutes, obviously, on the wing. Yeah. I think beyond that, you can sell the fact that this has been our winning program. Maybe that's something that he's interested in doing now that he spent 2 years in college and hasn't been to a NCAA tournament. And probably more, not that I'm not saying that winning isn't important to him, because I would imagine it is, but he's got to be looking for the right place that's going to showcase him for the NBA.
Sure.
And I think being in a situation where Illinois has done that here recently, if Will Riley and KJ go in the first round as projected, that's 3 first-round picks in 2 years.
Wow.
When you include Terrence Shannon Jr.
Right.
So I think that's something that he's got to be looking at, as that can help him take that next jump with his game and follow in his dad's footsteps to the NBA, because he's definitely got that talent.
They're not the same guy, but the Sabonis kid at Gonzaga, I mean, he was one that, of course you knew his dad and you knew the pedigree he came from, and he was really good.
He was.
So I'm all about getting the Stojakovic.
Be pretty cool.
Andrej Stojakovic.
Yeah, I thought about it in my mind. Now, it's far enough down the line now. I don't know you want to play any current 3-on-3, although we'll see. Illinois could put together a heck of a – they'd at least have 2 good pieces of dads of players.
Oh.
Michael Jordan being 1, Peja being 2.
Yeah.
Do we need Phoenix?
And Lante.
Can we get Phoenix Gill to transfer to Illinois, so then you get Kendall on that team?
Wow. How about the Blackwell kid? We'll take Glenn.
We'll see now. Players' dads. like players that are on your team, and then you get their dad.
Yeah, right. Well, I meant we'd have to get Black.
Frank Williams.
Frank Williams.
Oh yeah, Frank. Great call,
Because
Kyle.
DeMonte, yeah, good call. I'll
MJ,
take Frank.
Peja, and Frank Williams.
Let's go. Let's go.
And I'm sure I'm missing somebody else too in there, but probably not at that level. At least here recently.
No, I think Frank's the perfect one there. Boy, that'd be fun.
That'd be fun to see. A lot of ability right there.
Still kind of cool that you've got Illinois still have that Michael Jordan connection.
I know.
That's still.
I wish I was covering the team at that time and not
right.
Not that
Marcus, was that his name?
Well, Jeff was here. Jeff was the one who was here. Marcus went to UCF.
That's right. And I mean, bless their heart, but they just you're not going to live up to MJ.
No.
Right. And so that's not an easy thing to do.
You think MJ regrets not getting the Wizards to take Jeff in the second round?
How is Bronny doing?
I don't know. I don't follow it.
Yeah, right.
The
I think
playoff
the
starts
Bulls
this weekend.
Didn't the Bulls lose last night or something?
They were down 24 at halftime.
Is this the third year I think I heard that they've lost to the Heat in the play-in game?
That's right.
Good to see those two teams really moving up or down. Here's what you don't want to do. Spend 3 straight years in the play-in game, which means you finished like 8th or 9th. That's not a good spot to be in.
Nope.
You're not getting a high draft pick.
Don't worry, though. Arturas Karnisovas today in his press conference said, be patient, everybody. I just want the fans to be patient.
There we go. Well, I mean, if anybody deserves to be patient, it's Bulls fans. Good Lord. Wow. Okay. That's
Let me throw one more. We got more names to get to.
Do we almost tease it for next hour?
We can. Yeah. I want to tease the full list.
Okay.
But one other name that popped today, Illinois will not be involved with him.
Oh.
But they have been before. Dane Danger.
Really?
He can still play?
He's in the portal.
Is he one of those, like, he definitely doesn't have eligibility, but he enters the portal anyway? Because there's no way he can still.
Now we got guys just entering the portal, hoping that nobody really realizes how many years they've played.
No one's really going to check on that, right?
I tell you what, Dane, pretty good little player this year.
Well, he's going to apply for a waiver for that year that he left after a couple games, right? But is he going to get it? I guess everybody's getting him
He
now.
transferred mid-year
from Baylor.
He played 3 games.
Let him have another year. I mean,
he's going to probably say, I came back too soon from my foot injury. Essentially, when I transferred, I was taking a medical red shirt, if you'll give it to me.
When is the first guy that is now 4 years removed from college and working as like an insurance agent like me, and realizing that they left just a year early and they should have? When are they gonna like come back and say, hey, I only went to college 3 years, so technically I have?
You're saying someone that played in college?
Yeah,
or
and
just
then
a guy
left,
that was
let's say left after their junior year, didn't make it in the NBA, or not, didn't even maybe. Yeah, if you played professionally, you're not going to be able to play. I guess. Hell, I don't know.
Like,
what the
hey,
rules are.
have you seen Tomislav Ivicic? He played pro.
Right.
Dame Sarr is
See?
playing for FC Barcelona.
Man,
he was.
Yeah. I'm even just trying to think of an example of somebody that maybe just kind of flamed out in college and just. Well, how about our guy that Jeremy, Illinois? Come on, freshman, played his freshman year only. From
Jeremy
Chicago.
Richmond.
Yeah, Jeremy Richmond. Like, is there a time where a kid like that's going to be like, hey, I only played 1 year. I got 3 years left. I'm going back.
I could see someone wanting to do that, yeah.
Now, he's a little bit older now, obviously.
Right.
But if somebody was like 2 years out of college, I could see him,
Claims he's one of the top 3 players ever out of Chicago. Okay, buddy.
Or Kofi. Yeah, there's a good one. Kofi. Yeah, there has to be an age limit is what Scott said. I don't know.
I don't think there ever will be an age limit.
I mean, the kid from Indiana that played for Illinois for a year and played 9 seasons in college basketball, I think, Jalen Coleman-Lands, wasn't he like 29 or something?
Speaking of age limit, a name that hit the portal today. We'll tell you about that coming up next. There's the drive.
Hi, this is Les Hovland with Philo Exchange Bank. At our banks, we know the hearts of our communities beat with the rhythm of agriculture. Ag lending continues to be something we've excelled at for over 140 years. To you, the farmer, your business has been built on trusted relationships. When it comes to your banking relationship, we want to be your trusted partner.
Philo Exchange Bank, hometown community banking since 1883. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
As well as the son of a Leon County, Florida Sheriff's Deputy, Florida State University Police Chief Jason Trumbauer.
FSU police responded immediately, engaged, neutralized, and apprehended the shooter.
The gun used belonged to the deputy, the shooter's parent. A few minutes ago, President Trump speaking about the shooting from the Oval Office.
I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. I have been from the beginning. I protected it. And these things are terrible. But the gun doesn't do the shooting. The people do.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin now with more on the situation on campus on the ground earlier this afternoon.
Florida State University senior Cooper Huguenot detailing being in class and seeing students running from the student union.
And I remember looking outside and hearing 5 more shots go off.
The university telling students to shelter in place.
So we ran from our classroom, went to the offices, locked the doors, barricaded ourselves in there, and then we waited and was looking out the window again and saw the SWAT teams pull up, the police cars, the FBI come, and at that point we're like, okay, we got to bunker ourselves in.
Another student in the library detailing seeing people flooding up the stairs and barricading doors and elevators. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Maryland Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen still in El Salvador trying to convince officials there to free alleged MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Senator Van Hollen says he asked the vice president of El Salvador to let Abrego Garcia's lawyer or his family contact him, but their request was denied. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
President Trump and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni speaking to reporters at the White House this afternoon. The president says both countries share a strong relationship, and he's fully confident the U.S. will reach a new trade deal with Europe.
We're going to have very little problem making a deal with Europe or anybody else because we have something that everybody wants. You know what that means, right? We have something that everybody wants.
The Prime Minister says she's confident they can work out a new trade deal, adding she hopes this could lead to further discussions with other European countries.
My goal would be invite President Trump to pay an official visit to Italy and understand if there's a possibility when he comes to organize also such a meeting with Europe.
The talks come after the president recently suspended his plan for higher tariffs on European goods. He's argued these tariffs will help give the U.S. fair economic treatment on the world stage. Many economists say past evidence has shown that tariffs lead to higher costs and slower economic growth. An immigration judge denies bond for a Tufts University student from Turkey who's been detained by ICE in Louisiana. Fox's Gianna Gelosi has more.
Tufts University doctoral student Ramesa Ozturk was arrested by ICE agents in a Boston suburb in March. She was taken from there to New Hampshire, then Vermont, and eventually an ICE facility in Louisiana. Federal authorities allege she engaged in activities that support Hamas and revoked her visa. But her lawyer says she was targeted for an op-ed she co-authored in a student newspaper. Her lawyers asked Ozturk be released as her immigration case proceeds, but that request was denied Wednesday when the judge said Ozturk is a flight risk. Her lawyers now filed a new request with the federal judge in Vermont, asking him to take jurisdiction of the case. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News.
I'm Kevin Uretsky, and this is Fox News.
All right, Tim Onstad, tell me how you're doing at Dedicated Diesel and the Dixie Chopper. You have any late model deals here I can make?
Yeah, there are fall deals on everything. We've got 3 or 4 used machines in there that Andy's looking to get rid of. We still have some new models, very few, limited of those, but those are going to be at the lowest prices that you can get. If you give us a price and it's close to what our dealer invoice is, he'll go for it.
Okay.
We'll do that and get rid of it.
Good time to buy then.
It's a great time to buy. Best prices you can get, and if you need service, now's the time to bring them in to get them serviced and get ahead of the rush and get ready for spring.
Gail Frericks Trucking, can people apply just to give you a resume?
We actually are starting a waiting list now for drivers for our regional van over the road. We've got a good group right now, and we're blessed with it.
What's the location?
1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. You can get Andy at 217-328-0562. They can reach me at the office at 765-793-7131.
It is The Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. We'll continue to talk about options in the transfer portal for Illinois basketball.
It's 80 degrees in St. Pete Beach.
Is it really? My wife says it's going to be 80 here tomorrow, but windy,
What?
and that's what she said.
It's not going to be windy.
That's what she
I'm
said,
kidding.
man. I don't know.
No, it is supposed to get pretty. You can tell my default on my weather. Most people would have their default as like where they live, and mine just pops up at St. Pete. 80 degrees, great. And then I just jump out of bed. No, I think she's right. 78 degrees and windy.
Yeah.
So we've got Chatham Glenwood tomorrow.
See, I do listen. She's told me multiple. You're not here right now. You're thinking about work.
You want me to send
I'm
a
so
note home
sorry.
with you?
Yeah.
Haley, this is Lon. Derek bragged about that he actually listened to you today.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that.
90% chance of rain on Saturday.
How about, Haley, this is Lon. If you have questions about this, and this, let's write down the answers right now. He doesn't immediately respond.
Oh, Haley's such a trooper.
She is. Yeah.
You're a good kid, though. Let's be honest.
I try to be. You know.
I mean, you're doing well. You guys are a good couple.
Thanks, man.
And you got a lot of years ahead of you with these
We
kiddos.
We do.
I sit there and I think about how much fun you're going to have, but yet I'm like, oh. I mean, I think like for people to get to not even my age, but just get to the point where your kids are like almost done essentially with high school and such, the idea of thinking about going back and like having Cade walk, like, hey, Lon, can you watch Cade for like a week? I'd be like, no. Just sounds terrible, but yet I loved that when they were that age.
Hard to beat the good times.
I agree.
But there are challenges.
I know. Yeah.
to put it lightly.
Challenges.
Yeah. Hopefully the Illini don't face too many challenges in rounding out this roster, although it's very competitive out there in the market right now. High prices and a wave, which we expected. One more final wave of guys going into the transfer portal, which there's still until Wednesday of next week through the end of Tuesday.
Okay.
As soon as I thought you were
going to say the Clydesdales.
Yeah.
As soon as the Clydesdales come running around Bush again,
Yeah,
that's the end of the
almost
portal.
stepped on a real landmine. But the clock strikes midnight going into Wednesday. The portal is closed as far as new entries. But so Andrei Stojakovic, big name. Expect Illinois to be heavily involved.
Okay.
We'll see where that one goes. Mentioned Dane Danger is going in. Illinois is not going to be involved there.
Okay.
A couple other names that Illinois could be involved with, especially one, and Kyle's a big fan.
Oh boy.
We talked about age limit. Auburn's Chad Baker Mazzara. Who is 25 years old. I think he turns 26 next season. And he had a COVID year. He went to JUCO, which, of course, JUCO doesn't count against eligibility now.
Okay.
So he still has eligibility. He entered the transfer portal as well.
Interesting.
Today. A very...
Fill me in on him.
Much maligned character in college basketball. If you're not an Auburn fan, he's been ejected from a couple of games for flagrant fouls. Even a tournament game, right? That he got a flagrant
yeah,
too?
their loss to Yale last tournament.
Oh,
he
that's
got
right.
kicked out like 4 minutes in for elbowing a guy in the face.
Well, maybe he deserved it. Those Yale people can be a little uppity.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a good shot to the face was what he deserved. I'm kidding, everybody.
Yeah, have you seen the, what's that movie called? The Zuckerberg movie?
About
The Social
Facebook?
Network?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's those twins. Are they from Yale? The twins who are like the...
See?
The rowing guys?
Exactly.
Those guys suck. I'd elbow one of those guys in the face.
I mean, come on, let's be honest.
But
interesting. Okay, what are his measurables?
6'7", 180. This past year, he averaged 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, over a steal a game as well. He's thought to be a pretty good defender. He's from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
His dad played on the Dominican national team, and so did one Orlando Antigua.
Okay.
So I think there's a connection there. I've heard that he's going to be a very high-priced item.
Okay.
Like over $3 million.
So no
right
thanks.
now.
No thanks.
As of right now, yeah, I think to revisit, I imagine Illinois is geared up to make one more big splash.
Big
I say
splash.
more, you'd have to include retention with that.
Okay.
Some might counter and be like, have they made a big splash yet? But they have, I think, enough funds and opportunity for a big splash remaining. And then outside of that, I don't think you can get like Stojakovic and Baker Mazzara unless something changes with your resources dynamic. So
Got it.
I wouldn't imagine that one ends up being Illinois, but they do have a connection, and I could see them being involved. But I think that Stojakovic will be their preference.
Would that be your wing? A guy that can score?
Yeah, it could be a wing that shot 38% from three last year, has scoring ability, two-way ability, really, like the ability to defend. Obviously has an ability to mix it up with people. I think from a toughness dynamic, you'd be good with that, but you wonder if there is a little bit too much in there.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Wait, it's 6'7", 180?
Yeah.
He's for sure starting the fight and then running behind 6 guys, right? He's that guy. Like, listen, if these 18 guys weren't in front of me, I would be taking you down right now. Yeah.
Could be that guy.
That is thin. 6'7", 180.
Mm-hmm.
That's pencil thin, isn't it? Does he not look
He
it?
starts the fight and then he pushes Jason Jackson in front of him like, you got him, buddy.
Jason's like, wait a minute, hold on. What's going on here?
He gets slugged in the face for even knows.
It's the first time I've been on the court. Why? Yeah, and he gets slugged. Jason's first ever time on the court. Poor kid.
Oh, man.
He goes down in Illinois lore.
Yeah. Might have to get the Avicic twins, their older brother.
Oh.
Apparently, they have an older sister as well. Both of them thought to be pretty tough. We've joked, like, I bet the sister's like some Serbian boxer. Or she's not Serbian, Croatian boxer.
She's going to be in the next Olympics.
Yeah, right.
Hey, at least I'd have a rooting interest in the Olympics to watch boxing.
No doubt.
Otherwise, I haven't.
Yeah, that's a good point. This name has been in Baker Mazzara. It's been out there as somebody that is looking for a big payday, which, look, I mean, this is happening in a lot of places. You got people through the back channel seeing what they can get, have their agents doing some work. I had mentioned this name to Kyle off the air a week or two ago, and he was a big fan. So I want to get his thoughts on that.
I thought you were going to the next guy that he wasn't a big fan of either.
No, just this one.
Oh, this one. Okay.
I just am not. I'm not a big Baker Mazzara guy.
More because of his antics?
A lot of antics, a lot of talking, a lot of cheap shots, not a lot of, like you said, actually stepping in and backing it up.
Okay. How much better does he make you?
I mean, he's a good player.
I mean, let's play in the dirty pool for a minute. How much better does he make Illinois if he's here?
He makes you better. Yeah, I mean, he fits what Illinois could use on the wing, but I just don't really care for him.
That's fair. And I think character is a big thing, right?
Yeah.
It's such a weird dynamic right now in sports, in college sports. I mean, it's almost like, you know what? Let's take a kid like that 1 year and hope that he gives this in a weird way, toughness and grit and even a little bit of dirty. I mean, Lucas Johnson was a little dirty, but maybe, that was something that he kind of earned, right? He earned that ability to be kind of dirty.
DeMonte Williams had a little bit of that,
Yeah, he
too.
did. That's true. So, maybe, basically you're only going to have these kids for 1 year. So it's like, let's take a flyer on him and just see what happens. But for $3 million, you better be, wow, getting kicked out of the NCAA tournament. Like, that would throw to me red flags everywhere if I were a coach. I'd just be like, look, I get it that you're going to get in a scrap on occasion. I totally get that. But in the biggest game of the year, essentially, you're going to get kicked out. I mean, obviously, they were going to win the game, but...
Well, they lost to Yale.
They lost to Yale.
Yep.
So, it's like, I'm sorry. Yeah, duh.
So this past year they went to the Final Four.
Right. This is 2 years
ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. Well, then it goes back to that where it's like, if you can't control yourself when we really need you to control yourself, then yeah. Okay. Well, how did he do this past year?
He did have a really good Final Four game. I think he was their best player when they lost to Florida. I know ultimately
he was the kid that they wanted to shoot threes late, right? They kept trying to get him the ball.
He went 4 for 7 from deep in that game, 18 points, a team high.
Okay.
But 4 steals as well in that game.
Sorry. Joel wants to add the Hanson twins. If you know, you know.
Yeah, right.
That's a great movie, man.
Hanson twins. I don't know if I've seen that.
It's a hockey movie, and I can't. Now I can't think of what it's called.
Slapshot?
Slapshot. Have you? Okay.
Are they the ones in that?
I'm not even going to approach you with the. Have you not seen? Because really, that was.
Yeah, I know.
That thing came out maybe before you were born. I'm kidding. I don't know, but it is funny, and those two are worth watching that movie because they're just these two goons that are brothers, and it's a great movie. All right, go. I'm sorry. So go. All right. So is there another one other than him?
Another big entry to the portal. I don't think Illinois will probably be that involved, but PJ Haggerty from Memphis was a top-level scoring point guard type, big piece in the backcourt that when you see these dominoes falling today, it is a sign of there could be more here before this deadline, but there's urgency now of, quote, like get in the portal or don't because the money's there to be had and you got to be in by Tuesday. So it's interesting that there is this final wave, which I think we kind of always expected. But Stojakovic, to me, is the one to watch.
Okay.
I want to get Kyle's opinion on, and to both you guys, because Dame Sarr obviously has been somebody that's been a big target, and as again in line with the one more big get. Do you agree? Because I think it's trending for Illinois as of right now to make an all-out effort for Stojakovic to probably not be the choice for Dame Sarr. And I think experience in college basketball is being prioritized. And I do you think that's the right choice? Not maybe even just on its own, but knowing what both those guys bring to the table. I know that Stojakovic is rather a new name, but I feel like the buzz recently is that Brad, ideally, if he can only make one more big addition, doesn't necessarily want that guy to be a 19-year-old, even if he is super talented.
I am fine with that. If I had hindsight is 20/20, or what do they always say? Did I say that right? Actually, if I had that and knew how good Sarr was going to be or Stojakovic was going to be. But I don't have that. I'm okay with Brad doing that. And I think I've made that clear. I would like to get older and at least a little bit older. And again, not that you would ever scoff at what KJ and Tommy did coming over here as younger, although Tommy's 21. So I guess maybe KJ maybe is more than that. But
KJ and Will.
And Will. Right. Well, that's true because, yeah. So it's one of those where it's like, I would never scoff. I mean, if you want to give me a guy that's going to get us that kind of a year again, I'm okay with that. And maybe that is Dame Sarr. But I think I'd rather have more of the player that's already played some games at the college level.
Kyle, for what you know about Stojakovic, you obviously watched Dame Sarr at the Nike Hoop Summit. Would you make that same choice? I know it's not a guarantee that Illinois will get Stojakovic, obviously, until it's done.
Right.
Dame Sarr has not made a decision yet, but it sounds like that's become maybe more of an open recruitment here recently with a heightened price tag post Nike Hoop Summit. And I don't think, as of today, that he's going to go to Illinois. And I feel like in that big splash category, his arrow's going down and Stojakovic is going up.
I think a guy like Stojakovic is probably a little bit safer and a guy that you can realistically expect from a scoring perspective, which is what Illinois needs, is going to give you that. And I think with Sarr, even if his upside is maybe a little bit higher, or even if that's not the case, I think he fits the mold of some things that you're missing from an athletic perspective, maybe defensively, that I think there's still be questions about that with a guy like Stojakovic. But I think Stojakovic, from an offensive perspective, with still, I mean, he's only a sophomore, what he could be next year from a shooting perspective or what he could grow into, I think that is probably, if you're saying it's the money's about the same, the total investment is about the same, I think you probably would feel better about what you're going to get in 1 year of Stojakovic over a younger guy in Sarr who's probably going to struggle a little bit and go through some of the same growing pains that both KJ and Will did, even if he maybe gives you a little bit more of a dynamic athletic presence that I still would like over anything. If I could build the perfect addition, I think Sarr's physical profile probably fits that better, but I think Stojakovic offensively is really, really good.
Funny that KJ had no issues with the coming right in and being a stud and then kind of tailed off. Whether the injury was the big reason, I know a lot of people do put a lot of the onus on that, right? Because it did seem like he went to his left more often early. And then, of course, Will, it seemed like it, even though he came in and splashed with, 30 against SIUE or whatever, then he just went through that lull, and then all of a sudden you could just tell the lights came on for him. So you don't even have a clear-cut idea as to know, well, this is what's going to happen if Dame comes here. He's going to have a wall early, but then he's going to figure – you don't know that.
Right, exactly.
What is Stojakovic, be a junior, right?
Yep.
And then what are his measurables?
6'7" is his height. What is his –
So he'd be a wing.
He's a wing, yeah.
Okay, so he'd be your 3, essentially.
Yep.
With Mirkovic as your 4, then the Ivisic brothers is the 5, and, of course, you can throw those in and out.
And you might start – it's so early, but you might start Z and Tommy together potentially.
Yeah. And then you'd have Kylan at the 1. So you're still kind of have that gaping hole at the 2.
Right. Ty Rodgers could slot in somewhere in that mix. Obviously, if you were to get Adam Miller, if I were to make a way too early, although this would be if you add, say, Adam Miller and Stojakovic.
Let's say you do. What would your spot be?
As of right now, I'd probably guess opening night starting is Kylan, Adam, Stojakovic, Z, and Tommy.
I mean, that wouldn't be horrible. With Mirkovic off the bench.
Ty off the bench.
And Jake Davis.
That's right. And maybe Ben Henriquez.
And Ben. I mean, I wouldn't be ashamed to put that crew on the court at all.
I'd love to add one more guard to that mix.
I'm with you. Especially a possible ball handler. Like if something were to happen to Kylan.
Oh, my.
From an injury standpoint.
Then again, you've got Pedro Pajes playing point guard. I mean, literally, that's what happened to the Cardinals. They didn't have another middle infielder. I mean, you don't have anybody else. I'm sorry. Ty Rodgers is not my ideal come in and take over the point for 12 minutes against Purdue.
I agree
in West Lafayette.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he couldn't fill that role, because sometimes I think maybe we overemphasize a little bit a certain position, because it does seem once the offense is going, then it's just kind of a – but, man, if you're going to play that pick and roll or that – it's not called a pick and roll. What do you call it with Tommy and stuff?
Pick and pop.
Pick and pop.
So you can do pick and roll, pick and pop.
More.
Yeah.
You're not doing that with Ty. Number one, he's not going to pop. Right?
Well, Tommy
but
be
of
the
course,
one
Tommy
popping,
would be the one
yeah.
popping. That's true.
I worry about guarding ones.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Ty, if he's your backup point guard, is he going to guard?
Although he showed a couple of times, a couple of years ago, that he could do that. I think.
I feel like he's got a good amount of defensive potential. There were times during that Elite Eight run, not necessarily in postseason play, but during that season, that checking some speedier perimeter players was a challenge for him. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve a shot at it again, and especially out of a pinch. One of the big narratives, which I don't have enough time to fully discuss it, at least in terms of this segment, but is that a lot of teams are going to struggle to have the kind of depth that you'd want because of how expensive so many of these pieces, because of how expensive these pieces are.
Yep.
You're going to burn a lot of money just building a top 7, top 6, top 7, whatever it might be.
That's a great point.
That if you, one way a coach told me is you either have unlimited money, that's one way to get depth, or you have a roster where you didn't get enough good players and you took discounts and you either killed it in evaluation or you're not going to be talented enough.
Or imagine this. A freshman shows up on campus and becomes your eighth guy.
Yeah.
Wagler or
Brandon Lee.
Yep. Imagine playing a freshman. No, I'm kidding. It does seem weird now to even think like that, even though Morez was that guy.
And KJ and Will.
But
I get what you're saying. Kind of
KJ
like
and Will weren't
a lower
like,
profile,
yeah.
developmental type of ad. The guy that was maybe meant more for the long term, if there's even something that exists like that in college basketball anymore, at least in this realm. I know it does it maybe Purdue and a few other select places. Yeah. Speaking of Purdue, we said yesterday, maybe we can go through some of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They've killed it this offseason, man. Getting Omir Mayer, a point guard out of Israel, in addition to Braden Smith.
And Trey Kaufman-Renn.
Lawyer back, that Clough big man from South Dakota State.
Yikes. They're going to be tough to beat.
No doubt.
But we do have some Brad, though, to play,
We
too.
do, yeah.
I don't care.
No, let's do that.
I don't care which way we go.
Let's get to that. I want maybe even play some Robbie Hummel. I thought Robbie Hummel was really good. Before we do that, though, we got to let Lon do some work.
Let's do it. Let's talk about education. Your dedication to education paid off. Your college diploma's in hand. And as you enter the workforce, prepare for your financial future with Busey. Exercise smart spending habits. Live within your means. That means think before making major purchases like a new car, or don't max out credit cards. Instead, build that emergency fund. Pay down debt. Maybe that's that student loan. And save for retirement. I know that's kind of not fun to listen to when you're 21 years old, like you need to save for retirement. But boy, just throwing anything and helping your 401k plan as much as possible is huge. Create a budget. That's huge. The experts at Busey can help no matter your financial needs with outcome-based investing, retirement and estate planning. Now, you wouldn't maybe do that as a college graduate right away. Tax planning, and then, of course, risk management. Let Busey put you on the path to success with customized solutions to your financial needs. Visit Busey.com or stop by one of their many convenient locations today. Busey, member FDIC.
From computer systems to brakes and tires too, at PDR, fixing cars is what they do. Remember, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 or use their dedicated text-only line at 383-0619. Additional information, including repair quotes and online scheduling requests, available from the website at pdrauto.com. Remember, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
Winter's finally over. Time to thaw out and enjoy the sunshine. But is your yard ready? Part of the trusted 2 Men and a Truck family, 2 Men and a Junk Truck can help you ditch the clutter and create the perfect outdoor oasis. From old patio furniture to forgotten fire pits, 2 Men and a Junk Truck, a member of the 2 Men and a Truck services, will haul it all away. Get ready for cookouts, parties, or just chilling with a good book. Make space for what matters most. Visit 2menandajuncktruck.com today. Use code Radio25 to save $25 on your next service.
When the storm rolls in, where will you go? Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your family with a custom storm shelter from Berg Septic and Storm Shelter Services. At Berg Tanks, their shelters are fiberglass and plate steel safe rooms that can be installed in your garage or exterior, in ground, or on a concrete pad. Built to withstand the toughest storms, giving you a safe, secure place when you need it most. Whether you need a compact unit for a small space or a larger shelter for the whole family, they've got you covered. Their expert team handles everything from excavation to installation, so you can have peace of mind before the next storm strikes. Berg Septic also specializes in septic pumping, new system installation, grease trap cleanings, repairs, and maintenance plans to keep your home running smoothly. Call Berg Septic and Storm Shelter Services today at 217-367-8632 or visit them online at bergtanksinc.com. That's bergtanksinc.com.
Hi, this is Pam Moore with Philo Exchange Bank. Whether you want to do your banking online or you prefer face-to-face interaction with our friendly staff, Philo Exchange Bank delivers banking that helps you reach your personal or business goals. To us, you're not just another face, you're a part of our family. Visit us at any one of our locations in Philo, St. Joseph, Allerton, or Broadlands, and we'll be here to help.
Philo Exchange Bank, hometown community banking since 1883. Member FDIC.
When the storm rolls in, where will you go? Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your family with a custom storm shelter from Berg Septic and Storm Shelter Services. At Berg Tanks, their shelters are fiberglass and plate steel safe rooms that can be installed in your garage or exterior, in ground, or on a concrete pad. Built to withstand the toughest storms, giving you a safe, secure place when you need it most. Whether you need a compact unit for a small space or a larger shelter for the whole family, they've got you covered. Their expert team handles everything from excavation to installation, so you can have peace of mind before the next storm strikes. Berg Septic also specializes in septic pumping, new system installation, grease trap cleanings, repairs, and maintenance plans to keep your home running smoothly. Call Berg Septic and Storm Shelter Services today at 217-367-8632 or visit them online at bergtanksinc.com. That's bergtanksinc.com.
Back on the Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Brad Underwood put on a great Kicking Cancer event last night at Gordyville, as he does every year. And we caught up with him before that got kicked off last night with him introducing his guests, Chris Collins, Robbie Hummel, Dana Altman, and just a really good time to be able to be up there. And I know that Kyle and those others that have texted in and that I've talked to who got to sit through the program really, really enjoyed it. It's a great fundraiser and great part of it from the media side of things. It's a great time to catch up with Brad in the middle of the offseason, see what he thinks about the way the roster's come together so far and what he envisions for the final pieces to the puzzle. So Brad Underwood, wanted to get you him. Let's hear from your Illini head coach.
It's an honor to have those guys here and very excited to be back with 1,500 plus having the opportunity to raise a lot of money, bring awareness to Coaches versus Cancer, the American Cancer Society. A big thanks to everybody who's helped participate and sponsor this. We can't do it without them. It obviously means a great deal to me to have this group of guys here that are so important to the game of college basketball, that have found success in every endeavor. Dana's a guy I've known for many, many years, approaching 800 plus wins. I think he's 37, 38 years as a head coach, and and then the job that Chris and his impact in basketball, with his playing days in the state at the high school level, to his success at Duke, and now his head coaching prowess and what he's done at Northwestern has been just nothing short of remarkable. And then, everybody knows Robbie as a Big Ten player, and all the successes that he had in his 5 years there, fought through knee injuries, and then his professional career that was very, very successful. And now we're talking about a guy that is truly becoming the voice of college basketball. And so really, really good people that care about others, they care about the game. But tonight we're all joined here to fight a different battle, and we're doing it together. We're gonna have a lot of fun, kicking cancer, and that's the goal and the impact of tonight.
Coach, at this time last year, you're trying to rebuild the roster basically from the ground up. How important was it from a culture standpoint to bring back a core group of guys?
Yeah, I thought we did a really, really good job of finding the high character guys that allowed us to have our culture and keep our culture. I think it's nice this year to have guys who are a little older back. There's no doubt about that. That's important. You've got Kylan, you've got Ty. Tommy's a veteran, but I think you go right on down the list. Jake, Ben. Those are all guys that have been big parts of what this team was this year, and can move that forward to another level, as always happens here. And our guys get better, and they buy in more, and that's something that we're obviously feeling a great place to be at.
Brad, how is the portal different this year, and how is your approach different this year in the portal?
I think that it's we have the rev share supposedly coming, and there's a date on that. That meant more money for other schools, so we've seen the dollar value go up. There's no doubt it's the conversation is a lot about money. It's always been about minutes played. It's always about opportunities. Those things are pretty normal from that side of things. But now we've got deadlines with collectives and rev share, so I think those have changed and driven the prices up. You have a drastic difference in where teams are at in their roster building. So some of those teams can drive up prices and numbers very high, and you may only need one or two. It's different. The money is obviously at an all-time high, and yet you're still trying to find character. You're still trying to find guys that fit your system, and that's something that we're striving for.
What do you think about your literal Twin Towers?
Yeah, you don't. We obviously had to play Z, and I think it was the first time those guys were apart. I think it's got the makings to be just an incredible front court. As we continue to develop that and see what that looks like. Very seldom do you see 7-2 and 7-1 with the ability to shoot the basketball like those two do. They're both very high IQ, and obviously being able to protect the rim at a high level is pretty important.
Brad, not often a kid redshirts and comes back to that program. What was it about what you guys wanted with Ty and why Ty came back? Why was that a natural fit?
I hope it's because he feels really comfortable, and I think that he sees the things that are in place to help him continue on his path and his journey. Obviously had just a phenomenal year a year ago and leading us to an Elite Eight, was as impactful as any player on that team. Now has continued to grow his game. He's changed his body. He's worked very, very hard at all of those things. And, he's a guy that will be in year 4 in our system. So I think that speaks volumes to his love for the University of Illinois, our program, and we don't take that for granted. And I think he'll be as versatile a player as there is in the Big Ten, and obviously 6'6", 6'7", 210 pounds. We know what he can do at the rim. We know what he can do rebounding, and I think has a chance to be an outstanding defender.
The donors are playing a bigger role than we've seen in the past because of the NIL and transfer portal situation. Do you feel like you have a good support system and the resources here to be competitive?
Very good. Very good. Very good. The Illini Nation is very powerful. Never been more powerful. Never been more involved. And for that we say thank you. And we can't compete on a national level without that. And the response has been encouraging and will continue to be needing their help as we move forward and until all this settles in and we get the new rules in place and guidelines. So the Illini Nation is special. I said it, we've got the best fans in the country. That's evidenced by the 1,500 plus in there tonight, and they show up and sell out every night in our arena. So I'm very blessed that we've got the group that we have in terms of our fan base.
Brad, what do you feel like you're still looking for, emphasizing as you push forward with the roster building?
Yeah, we're looking for a few pieces. We'd like another kind of a combo guard. We need kind of a bigger forward. That we're still trying to work through and see what some of that looks like. It's got to be the right fit. We've been very selective in our process to this point, and if it happens to be an older guy, that's great. That doesn't mean it's not going to be a freshman, but it means it'll be. It's got to be the right fit and a guy who can continually stretch the floor and shoot it will be a top priority.
Obviously, your freshman repeatedly cited you as somebody he likes talking to about this portal world. Can you shed some light on what you guys have talked about?
We run in different cycles with it, so it's kind of a good thing to be able to bounce what's happening and what we're seeing in our cycle as they open theirs and vice versa. And so the timing is something that we all see. You've got kids talking, you've got agents talking on both sides of that. And, so the conversations are real, they're important. I have tremendous appreciation for some of the advice that he's been able to give us as they've gone through it in different points of the season. And now here we are in our 30-day, the meat and potatoes of our time, and a lot of conversations have been relevant to what we're seeing in ours.
We always have to look for graphics of whether they're back or not to return. Ben Humrickhouse, do you expect him to return? Do you have a status update on Ben?
Yeah, he's going through his process, and we expect to. We hope that's a positive one. He's been working out in our gym every day. He's been working out with Fletch and getting bigger and stronger. I think he's got the opportunity to have just an incredible season, and just being a little more comfortable with what he does. He stretches the floor. There's not a nicer human being on the planet than Ben, and I hope that is we see him in orange and blue next year.
You anticipate any changes or additions to the coaching staff?
We'll see. We're still working through some of all those things, and obviously, when Tim left, we moved Quay in. We'll get through. We'll kind of battle one battle at a time here as we move through the portal. But we'll make those evaluations here pretty shortly.
Brad, last year you went young with some of the playmakers. You're talking about getting old. with action guys, is that really important? Guys you run offense through? Or?
Yeah, and, we were so blessed. We had 2 lottery pick type guys, and they were mature beyond their years. Their seasons were just phenomenal. We gave them the keys, and they were ready to drive the engine. Start the engine, drive the car, and it's very rare that you go find those type of guys, and we took advantage of that. And I thought we had a unfortunate season because we didn't get to reach our ceiling because of some of the sicknesses and things that went on. But, if the portal presents some older guys, then those are obviously things that we want to look at and try to take advantage of. It was really good for us a year ago, so why not repeat the recipe?
With Will and KJ going through the NBA draft process, what's your role in that process? What advice did you have for those guys at all?
Just provide information, listen. I'm fortunate that I get all the phone calls as well. I spent an hour and a half with one team this morning. And it's really nice to be able to talk about those guys' strengths, weaknesses. Teams are really diving in now. They're getting really in depth as to the strengths, weaknesses, personalities of all of those young men. So I'm just here to support and pass on information as I get it.
Winning, obviously, money is part of all of this decision, but to have NBA guys now, to have first-round draft picks, what's that mean for you?
Yeah, it's huge. We've kind of run the gamut, and I think they're the first 2 one-and-done guys we've had in this program. That shocks me, blows me away, and yet here we are, and those 2 guys are ready to have them as Kasper's is everybody perceives a top 10 pick, and Will's blowing up the ratings. So. Both those guys were phenomenal. It shows it's tribute to Adam Fletcher, our coaches, for the job they do developing guys, the facilities, Josh Whitman giving us oven, our crowd for selling out every night, and then playing games on the biggest stages, and those kids want those games. So, I think it's just kind of a step that was needed. And it's nice to be able to attract the best players in the world to our campus.
What's a typical day like in the basketball offices during this portal window?
It's nonstop. The days fly by. I'm missing my walks. I'm missing my workouts. It's always something comes up. I made a comment yesterday to my mom. I said I had my to-do list and nothing got done on it because everything that came up took an hour or more to deal with, and it's just the unexpected. It's the world we're in. You get the phone call, you get a conversation, and all those things are at the top of the priority list right now. So you literally wake up and there's a lot of late nights. And so wake up in the morning and kind of expect the unexpected.
All right, Tim, Gale Ferrex Trucking, looking for drivers at all?
Yeah, we're going to do a little push here. And until we get the trucks full, I'm going to do something a little bit crazy. We're going to go ahead and reinstitute our $4,000 sign-on bonus for the month of April. So I can guarantee the first 2 guys that come in are going to get that. Now, after that, that will fill up the trucks, and I don't know what we'll have to reevaluate then, but we'll carry that through either till the end of April or till the trucks are filled up.
To the person listening, Tim, what did they do to get this $4,000 signing bonus in case they'd like to act on that?
They can email me at timo@gftlog.com. They can call my office at 765-793-7131. They can drop by Dedicated Diesel in Urbana at 1313 Triumph Drive and see Mandy, and she can get them the paperwork and get them in touch with me.
Christie Clinic has been helping patients win the fight against cancer for almost 90 years. The Charles W. Christie Cancer Center brings together a multidisciplinary team of providers who recommend and provide treatment options. Their team works together to fight cancer while helping reduce the side effects of treatment and maintain your well-being. A team built to act. A team ready to bring hope when you need it most. Learn more at cancer.christieclinic.com.
Race weekend, April 24th through the 26th. IllinoisMarathon.com.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
Are you ready to upgrade your home this spring? Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing has got the sale for you. Offering a free water heater with the purchase of a new HVAC system. Or 60 months, 0% interest on financing for a new HVAC system. It's the biggest sale of the year. Call Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing at 217-841-4728. Get a free quote for your home today. It's 217-841-4728. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
This is XYZ Insurance. How can I help?
I have a question about my home policy.
Okay, question about phone policy.
Home policy.
Okay, gnome policy.
HOME, home.
Technology is great, but sometimes it's better to talk with a real person. With Erie Insurance, you have a caring, independent agent who's with you from beginning to end.
We don't have any HOMEs on record.
Your Erie agent in Champaign is Thomas & Ellers Insurance. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Finishing up on the drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Good stuff there from Brad Underwood.
That was awesome.
Talking to him last night. Enjoyed that. He didn't go with jeans cowboy boots.
I saw that.
He kept it more, I don't know the right way to say. He had like slacks and the button down is always like the staple, but it wasn't the flannel.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that because Chris Collins was in kind of a nice shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie Hummel was in a golf shirt.
Right.
I'm like, what happened to the cowboy theme?
I don't know.
Just confused me. By the way, my apologies to Brad Underwood that he can't get his walk in for doing his job.
I told Kyle off the air, hey, me too. I'm also having problems getting my walks and workouts in.
Sorry, Brad. Hey, I'll switch your salaries and you can go down to the insurance office and get a walk in whenever you need.
Okay.
Take a couple calls and no, I'm kidding. I listen.
Oh, there's the phone line.
Yeah. Do I need to answer that? Yeah. Hi, Brad. But no, these guys, listen, it does stink. That's what I said in the first hour, that you guys, even you covering this stuff, you guys can't even have a life right now because of all this. So I'm literally just throwing funny shade at Brad because I'm sure it messes up everything, right? It's like, man.
Yeah. Speaking of funny, my wife was listening when we were talking earlier about me taking credit for listening to her. So see how that goes.
She's can't wait for that one. You walk into just awkward silence in the house.
Yeah.
Hey, honey. Oh. And then both kids come running out. You're like, where's your mom?
It'll be fine.
Hey, Kyle, do you want to do something to change the way this is going now? Because now Tyler Strain is in the portal, and now our kicker, Muchalijeva. I can't remember how you say his name. But he is now in the portal for Illinois. So our pets' heads are falling off ever since you decided to say, well, the good news is Brett Bielema hasn't lost anybody in the portal.
Should I go the full other direction? Like, Bielema cannot keep anybody.
Boom.
I mean, we've got a crisis in this program right now.
We're in trouble. Luke
What a
Altmaier.
day. Nobody
What a
wants to
disaster.
stay. I bet 18 more guys will enter now.
Oh, there you go. That's what we needed right there. Yep.
Can we do the little we talked about this a little off air, but since it's topical to the game that's going to be played on this station, ESPN 93.5, Cardinals 4-game set.
Let's go.
Against the Mets.
Yeah.
Who's going to homer tonight? I got a feel on a Cardinal.
I got a feeling.
Alec Burleson is yet to hit a home run tonight.
And I'm riding right with you, which means
it won't hit.
Do not bet Alec Burleson.
I know. But he's at a high price. He hit 21 bombs last year.
Yeah.
Griffin Canning, the starting for the Mets, gave up 31 home runs last season. That was one of the most in baseball, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how the Cardinals do coming off 2 nice series wins and facing a talented Mets team.
I agree. It should be
out
fun.
there in New
I
York.
forgot they had Juan Soto. I was sitting there on the
right?
couch going, oh, hey, you want to hear my little parlay I got?
Let's go.
So I got the Cardinals winning.
All right. Don't hate it. Palante's been good.
Right. And Burleson homering, right? Starling Marte to record a hit. He's usually pretty solid against the Cardinals. And Juan Soto, 2+ bases. $10 wins you $5.46.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
Ride with me on that one, everybody.
Beer's on you tomorrow if that hits.
Good Friday tomorrow.
Yeah. That's right.
So, and 78 degrees. I'll gladly buy the beer if it's going to be 78. Now, we won't be able to hold on to it because the wind will blow it out of your hand, but so be. Yeah, I like the Burleson thing. Kyle, who are you going with tonight?
I've got Adley Rutschman in the Orioles game, but I might have to get in on a Cardinal tonight.
Yeah.
I was thinking about them. No one jumps off the page at me as a big power guy.
Who are the Cubbies? I know they're facing the Diamondbacks. Who's pitching?
Corbin Burns tomorrow.
Oh.
Zach Gallen.
Oh, they
on
don't play
Saturday.
today.
Nope.
Well, you've already beaten Gallen.
It's true.
Did you face Burns the first time?
Did not face Burns
Okay.
in the first series.
This is crazy that you're, like Derek said the other day, it's like, are you guys now part of the National League West? It's crazy how many West teams you've played already. Padres, Dodgers, Diamondbacks.
Dodgers multiple times, Padres multiple times.
Now this will be the second series with the Diamondbacks.
Second series of the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers come to Wrigley on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and then the Giants come to Wrigley the week after.
Oh, my goodness. That's crazy.
I will not wear my Diamondbacks hat tomorrow.
Good choice.
Yeah. I don't want to stir things up with you.
Okay.
Especially if when you get here at 3 o'clock, the Cubs are losing. Or the bullpen is about to enter the game.
You could keep it in your car. Just
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, either right.
Just have it handy, you know.
I am awaiting that Cubs day game, and Kyle's getting a little.
It could be tomorrow.
Oh, when do the Cubs and Cardinals play first?
Late June.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yep.
So then they're going to just compile a bunch of games against each other. Here's what I wish Major League Baseball would do. I wish they would pick a common opponent, kind of like Illinois plays Purdue, kind of that stuff, and say, all right, you still get 18 games versus them. And then cut back on some of the other, maybe you miss, a Giants series or something. Now, the problem would be, is it fair with, like, do the Reds get the Pirates?
I was going to say, if you get 18 against the Pirates,
then
whoever gets the Marlins or the Rockies, you go to Rob Manfred and be like, we really have this tense relationship with the Rockies. I think we should play.
They'd probably give the Dodgers the Rockies.
Yeah, right.
Games
Well, you might as well.
Because they need as much help as they can get.
You might as well, to be honest with you. Hey, Wade brought it up. We forgot to mention this. Lee Corso retiring from College Game Day. I'll say 2 things. Number 1, what a great run.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee was awesome. Number 2, thank you.
Yep.
Because it became really uncomfortable.
Correct.
Watching Lee Corso. So, I mean, thank you. But he was great. He was great for a long time. Just, it became uncomfortable with him up on that stage.
I agree with you. Huge part of elevating the game of college football and its coverage and the entertainment value around it, really.
Yep.
The mascot head is just something that will live on forever.
I think they should just tape a segment with him I mean, really, they could tape a segment with him, not a segment, a pick every week, and still let him throw that on there. You know, then he could still be a part of it, but you'd have a chance then to do it to where it's not uncomfortable for everybody, and he just makes his selection.
Yep.
So
he's had a great run.
He has.
But it is time.
It is time.
It's been time. But yeah, happy for him on a great career.
Amen.
Week one of this coming season will be his final show, right? That's what they said.
Is that what they did? Oh, I didn't read all that. Okay,
Yes.
so he'll do one more show?
Yep.
Okay. Presumably here in Illinois?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I just told you, like, literally, I wouldn't mind going to Duke.